Hello everyone, good afternoon. Today I am going to explain about participial phrase. What is participial phrase? Participial phrase is a phrase that looks like a verb of the sentence but actually not. Actually, it is an adjective of the sentence. Okay? And now we are going to see the examples of participial phrases. Okay, there are some forms of participial phrases. There is general form and the perfect form. Okay, first I am going to explain about the general form, active. Okay, not passive. Okay, the general form is we have to add ing after verb 1, like this one, offering, but it doesn't mean that the verb that is used in every sentence is must be offering. No. Okay, this is only the example. It can be writing, it can be reading, it can be sleeping, it can be eating, and any other else. Okay, this is only the example. Offering is only the example. Yeah. Okay, this is the general form, and then I have to remind you that what you have to understand here is you have to know when you have to use the general form, active. Okay, general form used when the verb in adjective clause. Okay, you have to identify in the sentence that the sentence must have an adjective clause, and what we have to do with the sentence is we will change the adjective clause in the sentence into participial phrase. Okay, so before you change the adjective clause into participial phrases, of course you have to identify what kind of verb, okay, or what kind of the tenses that is used in the adjective clause of the sentence. Okay, for the general form, you use the general form if the verb in the adjective clause of the sentence is in simple present tense, simple past tense, present, and past progressive tense. For example, the woman who works in the hospital is from Tegal. The woman who works in the hospital is from Tegal. The adjective clause is who works as. Okay, so this one is the simple sentence. Okay, and then you have to identify whether the verb is active or passive. Who work, the woman who work, wanita yang bekerja, bukan wanita yang dipekerjakan. Okay, so the woman who worked, bukan the woman who is worked. Okay, so because the form of the sentence is active and the tense is simple present tense, so we have to use the general form. Yeah, the word here, work, okay, the verb of the adjective clause, we change it into gerund. Okay, so the sentence becomes the woman working in the hospital is from Tegal. The woman working in the hospital is from Tegal. As what I have explained about what participial phrase is, participial phrase looks like a verb, like this, working. It looks like verb, but actually it is not. It's an adjective of the sentence. Okay, the woman working in the hospital is from Tegal. Okay, to translate it into bahasa is similar. The woman who works, wanita yang bekerja. The woman working, wanita yang bekerja. Okay, so if you want to translate it into bahasa Indonesia, it is similar. Okay, the second example, the girl who bought my house. The girl who bought is verb 2, so this one is the simple past tense. So the adjective clause is in simple past tense, so still the same. Yeah, we only have to change the verb into gerund. So the girl buying my house was so happy. Okay, and then the third example, the boy who is watching. The adjective clause is present progressive tense, so still the same. The boy watching TV. Okay, in here I don't give the example of the past progressive tense because the form of the participle phrase is similar, yeah. So if it is in past progressive tense, the boy who was watching, okay, but the participle phrase is similar. The boy watching TV was my cousin, okay. All right, let's go to another slide. This is general form passive, okay. So similar to the previous slide, you have to identify the verb that is used in the adjective clause, okay, whether it is passive, active, or which tenses that exists in the sentence, okay. Okay, for the general form passive, what we have to use is verb 3, okay, offered, eaten, and then walked, read, okay, and any other else, okay. All right, it is if the tenses is simple present or simple past, okay. In simple present or simple past, okay. Tadi saya ralat ya sedikit. Okay, for example, any package which is not wrapped properly will not be accepted by the post office, okay. Which is not wrapped, okay. Simple present, but this is passive. Yang tidak dibungkus, bukan yang membungkus ya. Kan nggak mungkin paket membungkus dirinya sendiri. So in here you have to understand the meaning of the sentence, whether it is active or whether it is passive, yeah. Okay, so the sentence becomes any package not wrapped. Jadi jangan is not wrapped atau doesn't wrap ya, but any package not wrapped properly will not be accepted. Okay, and then the second sentence, anyone who was prohibited. Orang yang dilarang, okay? Semua yang dilarang, alright? Anyone prohibited to join, okay? Anyone prohibited to join, okay? So you have to use the verb 3, okay, after the subject. Okay, and then for the progressive tense, okay? If whether it is present progressive or past progressive, so you have to add being before the verb 3, okay? Being offered, okay, so this is used when the verb in adjective clause is present progressive or past progressive. For example, I will keep the carrot which is not being cooked. It becomes I will keep the carrot not being cooked. Okay, not being cooked. Okay, ini ada kekeliruan ya, participial phrase-nya saya bikin sama adjective clause-nya yang kedua. I kept the carrot which was not being cooked at 7:30 last night. Participial phrase-nya harusnya I kept the carrot not being cooked. Okay, so similar. Okay, right. Okay, next slide. Okay, we have discussed about the general form, active and passive, and now we are going to discuss about the perfect form, active and passive. Okay, the first one is perfect form active. In perfect form active, we use having and verb 3. Having offered. Okay, this is used when the verb in adjective clause is present perfect. Okay, for example, the girl who has talked. So the participial phrases is the girl having talked, right? And if the main verb is present perfect progressive, we have to add been before the verb ing. Okay, the girl who has been talking. It becomes the girl having been talking. Right? The girl having been talking. Oke, jadi bukan having been talked ya. Karena kalau having been talked nanti jadi pasif. Oke. And then perfect form passive ya. Oke, jadi kalau yang perfect form passive dia pakainya having been offered. having been offered. Okay, it is used when the adjective clause verb is in present and past perfect tense. The man who has been surrounded, jadi the man having been surrounded. Begitupun dengan yang past perfect tense, ya. Okay. Alright. Now we are going to discuss about the gerund phrase. Okay. But